Hey guys, it's Nina, and today I'm going to be bringing you my March wrap-up and my April TBR. I read a total of 4 books in March, which I'm really proud of because I don't know what it is about 2017, but I have had an amazing reading year so far. Like, it is not normal for me to read 3 to 4 books every single month, but that's what's been happening. I'm not complaining, I'm just really impressed with myself right now. So without further ado, let's see what I read this month. So the first book that I completed in March was Wires and Nerves by Marissa Meyer. This is actually a continuation of the Lunar Chronicles, which is, if you guys aren't aware, one of my favorite book series ever. So I was very excited to pick this up. But basically this follows one of our previous main characters, Aiko, and kind of her journeys after the Lunar Chronicles in hunting down a lot of the things that didn't quite get wrapped up in that last book. And what's different about this is that this is actually a graphic novel, unlike the normal novel form of the Lunar Chronicles. But I think that was kind of one thing that I didn't quite like about this, unfortunately. I ended up giving this a 4 out of 5 stars, and I found it a little bit less immersive because I already had these preconceived conceptions of what these characters should look like that I have in my head, and then seeing them artistically depicted was like nothing like what I pictured for most of them. And I think it brought me out of the story to see them depicted in a different way. I don't know. But overall I still did really enjoy this because at the end of the day the characters are the same. I loved seeing the interactions of this main cast of characters that I've grown to love over the previous books. I loved Aiko as a main character. She was great in holding her own as a main character of this story, and I especially loved that we got to see a lot of Cress and Thorn in this book, which was fantastic because they're 2 of my favorites. Not that I can really say they're my favorites because I loved the entire cast that we have, but I just especially loved them. And overall, yeah, like this was enjoyable. I didn't love it, but it's definitely worth reading if you are a fan of the Lunar Chronicles. Like, don't expect it to be as good, but it's still definitely worth your time. And then the next book that I completed this month was Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling, and if you aren't aware, this is my first time reading this book ever. Yeah, I know. And my thoughts to this were very similar to my thoughts of the first one. Basically, I give this a 4.5 out of 5 stars, so my rating went up a little bit, but I think the reason why I had to take off that like half of a star is because I wasn't fully immersed in this story, and I think that's because I knew where the plot was going. Like, I've seen the movie before, and as I was reading it, a lot of the movie was coming back to me because I feel like it was decently fresh on my mind. I think one of the great aspects of this book is where the plot twists and turns, but like those twists weren't twists for me because I already knew where it was going, so that was a little lacking there, and I think that's the reason why I didn't love it as much as I could have. But aside from that, I absolutely loved this book, and I also did rewatch the movie right after reading it. Even like my overall thoughts and the things I liked about this book are similar to the first one. Like, I like that there's more in the books than there are in the movies, so I'm getting to know the characters a lot more than I do from just watching the movies, and I think that's really my favorite part, is getting to know these characters that I feel like I know but I don't actually know because I haven't read the books. And I don't know, I just generally enjoyed reading this quite a lot. And then the next book I completed this month was The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. It absolutely blew me away, and I'm not going to talk about this one too much because I actually made a full spoiler-free review for this book because I just had so many feelings that I needed to discuss. So that will be linked up there in the cards. You can click right there to watch that. But basically my general thoughts, this book is actually inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement, and it follows our main character Star, and she is 16 years old and African American, lives in a predominantly black community, and one night she's driving home from a party with her friend Khalil, and as they are driving, Khalil gets pulled over by a white police officer and gets shot and killed by that police officer. So this book, just like going into it, I absolutely had very high expectations and I expected it to affect me and move me and teach me things, but I didn't expect it to affect me as much as it did. And this book was just absolutely incredible. I think one thing that I failed to mention in my review is how happy this book can be at certain points, because although it does deal with a very deep and tough topic, it does have a lot of lighter moments, which I really appreciated, and I think that balance was done really well. And just overall, I could gush for hours about this book, and I already have gushed for quite some bit, so you can watch my full review if you need to know more of my thoughts. And then the last book that I completed this month was Empress of a Thousand Skies by Rhoda Belleza, and this was our Biblio Squad book pick of the month for the month of March, and we actually just had our live show, so that will be linked down below if you want to watch that. That's going to be completely full of spoilers, so only if you have finished this book. But I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. I don't know, didn't really get as engrossed into this book as I really wanted to. Going in, I had decently high expectations because I really like sci-fi in general, and the premise and everything about this book just seemed really interesting to me, but I just found myself not really connecting to the characters. The plot was good but not fantastic, and just overall, like, I liked it and I enjoyed reading it, but it really didn't grab my attention and make me want to keep reading all the time. And then there was also some world building issues, so overall just like a solid good read, but nothing spectacular. That sounded harsh. But yes, if you want to know more of my full in-depth spoilery thoughts, links are down below to our live show. And speaking of Biblio Squad updates, let's talk about my TBR for April, and a little bit of May. So the first thing that's definitely on my TBR for April is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. This is our Biblio Squad book pick of the month for the month of April. I'm super excited for this book because I've never actually read a Laini Taylor book. She's most famous for the Daughter is Smoke and Bone trilogy. I think it's a trilogy, which I haven't read. It's one of those series that, like, I know I'll like it if I actually sit down and read it, but I just haven't had the chance. But the one thing that I've heard the most about Laini Taylor is that her writing is really beautiful, so I'm really looking forward to that. Also, I have no idea what Strange the Dreamer is about. I haven't looked it up. I don't think any of us on the squad have even read the synopsis. Like, literally all we know is that Laini Taylor is coming out with a new book, and that's all we needed to know. So, does anyone else actually need any more information than that? And then sidetracking for a little bit, we actually already know our Biblio Squad book pick of the month for the month of May, and that is going to be A Court of Wings and Fury by Sarah J Maas, which is the last book in the ACOTAR ACOMAF series by Sarah J Maas, which is a fantastic series so far. I had mixed feelings about ACOTAR, but ACOMAF was within like my top 2 books of the year, so the hype is real for this book, but we just wanted to let you guys know ahead of time, so if you haven't caught up with this series, you can do so before our live show. So shifting my focus back to April, the last book that is definitely on my TBR for this month is going to be the next Harry Potter book, which is The Prisoner of Azkaban. I believe that's the 3rd one, because as you may know, I'm currently trying to work my way through the Harry Potter books for the first time, and I'm super psyched to read this one. This is another one where I've seen the movie, so we'll see how new and stuff it is, but I'm still excited and I'm definitely going to be getting to it this month, which is awesome. And then I think that's really it for my TBR. I don't know what else I'll get to, we'll see what I'm feeling, but that is it for today's video. Let me know down below if you guys have read any of these books / what you've been reading recently. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe, and I will see you guys later with another video soon. Bye!